Life is really hard, and a lot of people are incredibly depressed, many to the point where they don't want to participate or be subjected to life at all. I was there, still am some days. The world is burning, and people in power are more concerned with keeping their power and systems than fixing anything, because anything outside of that is abstract. There is so much inequality and oppression and division in place to keep us from working together to force change. Social media perpetuates this culture war, corrupting the tool of identity into a form of separation, and constantly wants to sell you things by making you feel like you aren't enough, making you feel unsatisfied in your appearance, your diet, your career. There's a lot to be unhappy about. These feelings are okay and likely the correct response. Anger, grief, sadness, frustration, these things are okay and good to feel. But the world is set up in a way that you feel them a lot and often. Our society focusing your attention on these things so that it feels like everything is like this. Your brain shifts to the default perspective that everything is horrible, there's no hope, and there's no way to fix it. That is an incredibly painful and frankly unkind way to approach the world. It's also not true. It's not anyone's fault if they feel like this. This is what happens, and it feels completely out of your control. It isn't. Not completely. First and foremost, nothing I'm saying here is a replacement for therapy and medication. The only reason I've gotten here to be able to say these things is because of that. But there is a studied common thread between those whose outlook is happy and satisfied and those who are depressed and feel hopeless and overwhelmed. And that is gratitude. It sounds like a dumb little platitude, but bear with me here. Kurzgesagt has done a great video on this, supported by psychological research. Check it out, link is in the description. Gratitude is truly powerful. It's changed my life, and it's what got me to stick around. The basic idea is this: there are so many things that are just so wonderful, and we should be so grateful that we have them, and they largely go unnoticed. When that happens, the amount of good we think there is feels infinitesimal in comparison to the amount of bad. But when we make a point to notice them, the weight bad things have feels a little less. So make a point to notice them. At least one thing a day. You don't even need to know why you're grateful for it, though that might help. Just point at something and think, I'm glad that's a thing. Psychologists recommend keeping a journal. The Kurzgesagt video has some specifically designed for this. Journal will also help you have a record of all the things that you were grateful for. So on days when it's really overwhelming and it's hard to notice them, you can look back and see everything you are grateful for. They don't have to be big or major. In fact, I personally think it's better if they're not. Just once a day, think about wonderful things and pick one you're grateful for. Cranberry bogs, pumpkin pie, fireflies, sunflowers, your dog, the fact that it rains. Aren't we so lucky to live in a universe where it rains? I've got a poem about all this I might share one day. I've been cultivating gratitude in what I've been jokingly referring to as an unrequited love of life since I started writing, and I am finally happy. Genuinely happy. Not always, obviously, but when the sad or mad comes, it's reduced by the reminders of happiness, and I know it's gonna pass eventually. You might feel silly, but I find profoundness always has an aspect of absurdity to it. Personally, that makes it all the better. There's this thing that's absolutely ridiculous, but it's beautiful, and that makes it more ridiculous, which makes you love it more, which makes it more beautiful. For example, the concept of appreciating everyday wonders has a lot of songs about it. My personal favorite is Saturn by Sleeping at Last. but only one completely and succinctly gets the point across. And it was written by the Insane Clown Posse. They have a song called Miracles, talking about acknowledging the everyday wonders we take for granted. And it's a clown rap. The same song that has this line.
I see miracles every day, ocean spanning beyond my sight, and 1,000,000 stars way above them at night.
Also contains this line.
Water, fire, air, and dirt. Fucking magnets, how do they work?
And isn't that just the best? I am so grateful that the song that explains gratitude the best is Miracles by ICP. So yeah, find something you love every single day and acknowledge it. And eventually you'll do it without trying. And the world will seem a lot more wonderful. Just pick something to love and then love it.